with the Trabant across the Pacific, on the Great Central Road to Alice Springs. Before we left the roadhouse, Chukalirla, we bought a local specialty as a reward for a job well done, a kangaroo tail. Supposedly, this is a wonderful delicacy, so we are really curious. By the way, the road that was almost impossible to drive on 3 days ago has improved now and no one falls or even gets bogged down. In the evening, after 250 kilometers, we arrive in front of the city Warburton. We set a fire immediately and prepared the kangaroo tail. I again mess around with the Jawa because it is still on strike and does not want to go properly. Dinner is excellent, but not enough for 9 people. We found out that such a tail is only for up to 3 people. In the morning in Warburton, we get gas and I wrench on the Jawa again. I wish I knew what to do with it. I keep making changes, but nothing happens. By the way, I did not think that in the Aboriginal towns of Australia it would look like somewhere in Africa. Broken cars, broken homes, and dirt. It really surprised me, and it seems that Australia has a problem with Aboriginals. Or it could be that Aboriginals have been living here for such a long time and have a problem understanding the modern way of life or adapt to it. You cannot get classic petrol here, just Opal, which is a petrol that cannot be sniffed, if I can say it like that. Of course, you cannot buy alcohol either. Anything that could cause a person to somehow get into a condition of intoxication cannot be found here. I also thought that Australia is as flat as a pancake without any hills. However, on one nice evening when the sun was setting, we saw beautiful mountains in the distance. Suddenly, I had such a good feeling in my soul and I felt like I was at home. We stand next to them, looking at them, and think that we could also sleep next to them. Marek, the photographer, Wojto, and I slept on them. 2 hours of treading up in the dark, without headlamps, only with the moon overhead, which beautifully illuminated the landscape. It was really worth it. The view is wonderful, and we don't mind the cold or wind that seems to want to blow us away. The morning view is even more magnificent. I look at the landscape from the top and I see the endless flat Great Central Road. In Banska Bystrica, we have nicer views, but after 2 months without hills, priorities change and any view will make a person happy. We leave West Australia and with it the tidy road. The last 200 kilometers of the Great Central Road is so broken that I do not even want to imagine the bearings in my wheels. It seems endless, and there are such bumps in the road that my entire luggage carrier falls off. We sleep next to the national park Uluru Kata, and we plan to explore the area. Suddenly, it's all so touristy, clean, and mostly asphalted. We even meet Slovaks here. I think these are the first ones we've met on this trip. Marek and I climbed the world-famous Uluru Rock, one of the symbols of Australia. Uluru is a sacred rock for the indigenous Aborigines. Therefore, they do not like when tourists climb on it, which supposedly brings bad luck later on. But we risk it, and in the end, it is really worth it. It is quite dangerous and steep, and I tell myself that if I slip here, I'll die. Then a local says to me that 36 people already died on this rock, and if one more person dies here, they will close it down. I cannot relax and think about the trip because we have to fix the Jawa again. There was nothing wrong with it in South America, but now it is taking its toll. We weld the carrier and mess around with the electricity. It reminds me of an entertainment and educational program. I weld, you weld, we weld. I was very pleased that Australia started to be uneven and that there is something to look at. We stand next to Kings Canyon and we pass by the MacDonnell Mountains. We have been chasing a Japanese cyclist already for 3 days, and he is still ahead of us by some kind of miracle. I wonder if we are so slow or he is so fast. I hope it's the second option. During the last 100 kilometers before Alice Springs, after 2 weeks, I finally find out what's wrong with my Jawa. I took it apart in the evening and found that the bearing on the crankshaft rotates at the engine block. The sounds that Jawa makes after starting are so scary that I wish for a moment I can't hear. I did not think at all that it would last all the way to Alice Springs, but in the end, it fortunately endured. Today, I took the bearings apart and changed them for the whole day. Unfortunately, it is already dark, and I do not have time to finish. But tomorrow is a new day, and hopefully everything will go according to plan so that we can go, numbed and frozen, to the warm north and slowly leave Australia. I cannot wait to be in warm Indonesia, but it may be too hot there.